I said, hey yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy MoHodls, and we're back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about everything ILV. If you don't know what ILV is, by the end of this video you will understand what ILV is. We're going to be jumping into technicals. We're going to be talking about the charts. We're going to be talking about lots of things to expect for ILV and what it can potentially do in the coming cycle. So this is going to be a fun informational video, so make sure you stick around all the way to the end of the video. So taking a look at the current price right now, it's about $52, but again, you know, it's just chopping along here. And we look at the charts, I mean, guys, this is reached all the way up to close to what, about $1,800, which is insane. Of course, every exchange has a different wick. Some even go as high as $1,900, but it's very, very interesting. And I've written an article, guys, on ILV. So if you want to follow along in this video, feel free to go in the description and click the link so you're following along. I've written these articles myself. I also have my own blog. I talk about a lot of different topics, lots of different protocols, because at the end of the day, we are learning in this space. There's not going to be one protocol to win. There's not going to be one, chain that's going to have everything on it. Everybody is going to be a winner in this space. There's lots of money, and honestly, a lot of people have a scarcity mindset. But I digress. Let's jump into ILV, guys. We're going to be discussing what it is, the background, funding, collaboration, tokenomics, games on ILV. Is gaming really that serious? And technical analysis, of course, all of the fun stuff. But, recently it's been very interesting to see how the gaming side of blockchain has been growing, right? In the midst of the bear market, we've seen, ILV raised $10 million from Framework Ventures, which I think is very interesting because, while there's a bear market, while people are, not trying to deploy funds anywhere, ILV has been one of those to raise, some money, which I think is very interesting. So again, that's kind of what has caught me off guard there, but I wanted to jump more into ILV because it had a monstrous bull run this last cycle in 2021. And pretty much, what is ILV, right? So Illuvium, and I'm probably butchering that, but I'm just going to say ILV, is an immersive open world fantasy battle game set on the Ethereum blockchain. It has many different games. Of course, we've seen, 4 different games which we're going to be talking about. It's co-founded by 2 brothers, Kieran and Aaron, and it doesn't only offer a gaming experience, but it also interweaves the essential or the essence of DeFi through its native ILV token, rewarding achievements and empowering players to shape the game's future in its decentralized governance ecosystem. So there's also a DAO aspect, which I thought was interesting. It's called the Illuvium Council. And more on Illuvium, and it's a project based out of Sydney, Australia, founded by 3 brothers, it looks like, in 2020. And again, they've pretty much created this game because they believe that P2E, play to earn, is here to stay. And so, it's very interesting that 3 brothers pretty much have done this together. Which I think is, again, very, very interesting. They all have a background in gaming as well, which is very, very interesting. One of the brothers, allegedly, or one of the people on the team, used to work at BioShock, right? Which is another gaming studio or game itself. It's a title that has, been very successful. So they do have people working alongside the ILV team to, make shit happen, right? I mean, that's what it's really about. And, they have a very good team that is stacked. I think they have 50 employees. I may be inaccurate about that, but, I think you can, if you go over here, they have or not here. There's a link somewhere where they kind of go over the team. But I'm gonna keep moving on here. This is the ILV funding and collaboration side. So they've raised $52 million during an ICO, according to ICO drops. They also, again, raised $10 million, which I thought was very interesting. They only have 3 pre-seed investors and another seed investor like Framework Ventures. And they also done many partnerships, right? They have many partners here. You have Chainlink, Immutable, Yield Guild, and a bunch of others here for different reasons, which again is very interesting because each partnership does provide different type of use case. But for me, this one was the most interesting, which is also most recent. Illuvium has entered into a partnership with GameStop, unveiling 20,000 pieces of NFTs called the Illuvatars, right? So again, I know that NFTs have kind of died off, but NFTs are not going anywhere. NFTs are going to continue growing. I mean, when you think about NFTs, it's kind of like how, the App Store was first created, right? The first app that was ever created on the iPhone was actually a drinking app. Literally, you just download the app. It's a bottle that you just turn sideways and it empties. So you got to think about this stuff in the same way that you got to look at this technology, where it's like, at first, it's not as captivating, but as time progresses, as technological advancements take place, there's new use cases. There's new ways to use these things, and you never know. Maybe these Illuvatars are incorporated in some game down the line, right? So there's always opportunities for this stuff to grow, and I think it's interesting. Again, this is not going to be something that, it takes ILV to the next level, but it's something that's making them, have that legacy brand in the space. And collaborating with GameStop is definitely better than not collaborating with GameStop. But at the same time, there is a delicate balance of creating things with, use cases. But that is not what we're going to be talking about. But I do think, again, it's worth mentioning here. But, it's interesting, right? So we'll see how this spans out. But they do have a lot of partnerships, and they are still building throughout the bear market. So I think that's interesting. And I want to move on to the tokenomics now, right? So pretty much the ILV token is the native token for the blockchain itself. There's currently 5,665,000 tokens in circulation. And there's only a maximum supply of 10 million tokens. You can see here, this is from the ILV white paper itself. This is how it has pretty much been chopped up. And I think it's very, very interesting. Again, there's nothing crazy here. It's only 10 million tokens, which is not that much, guys. When you look at other blockchains, other protocols, 10 million tokens is really nothing. And that's kind of why you saw the price jump so high. Like, we're going to be jumping into TA soon, but like, when you look at this, it started at $32 in 2021 and went all the way up to $1,900, right? And I think part of the reason why is because there's not that many tokens. So it might be easy to push the price up. That's something to think about, thinking about what can happen in the next cycles. I don't know if it'll get that high again, which again, we will be talking about throughout this video. But again, there's also a DAO aspect, so people can kind of, holders of ILV can, partake in the system itself, as far as what can, what upcoming upgrades or proposals or amendments can take place. It's all pretty cool stuff, what you can do, but nothing too crazy, right? I mean, this is kind of standard, for ILV itself and tokenomics versus other blockchains. Nothing really sticks out except that it has 10 million tokens, which is, again, a very, very little amount of tokens. And I think that's very, very cool. I mean, when you look at it, right? I mean, you do the math on this, like 1.5 million was given to the seed. Pre-seed also received 500,000, and then the team also received 1.5. You do the math on that, 35% of the supply was allocated to like the team and the pre-seed. The rest of it was kind of like allocated towards other things, which I think is not horrible, but something to think about, especially when you look at over here of how the tokens will be, dispersed for the most part. And again, most of the people who did partake in the pre-seed and seed, investment side, that they kind of already been flushed out, right? Because as you can see here, they've already received their tokens for the most part. The rest of the tokens that are coming out, it looks like it's going to be from the team and the launchpad, and the ILV pool, which is again another thing where people can stake their ILV, people can yield farm that ILV. So, that's all on their website. You guys can go take a look at that if you're interested. The website is also up to date, which is something else that people may miss, right? They're continuously building. But again, they have 4 games on their website. You have the Arena, Overworld, Zero, and Beyond. All betas are available. They're also downloadable for Mac and Mac OS. So again, I mean, it's nothing too crazy, but they have gameplay. And I think that's very interesting because lots of, these, game manufacturers, especially in the blockchain space, don't have a real world product. And they're trying to market, right? They show a lot of trailers, they show a lot of, games itself, but at the end of the day, they're not really, coming to the market with a real product. So it's interesting, right? Because when you look at Axie Infinity in 2020, it blew up, right? Because at the end of the day, they had a product that had only one game and it did that well, right? So if one game like Axie launches on ILV, you can imagine what will happen, right? It will pretty much explode. And again, there's 4 games on this blockchain, and play to earn is going to be very, very big space that will be, interesting to watch, right? So we'll see exactly how that plays out. And this is something else, right? This has nothing to do with ILV, but this is about, is gaming serious, right? Because when you look at gaming itself from 2020 to currently, the amount of people playing games has literally increased significantly, right? And, gamers like, most of us are probably listening to this have played games before. Gaming is not going anywhere, right? It's going to continue growing. And you can see here that it's gone up exponentially, right? So with play to earn games coming up, with blockchain games coming out, people will try these, right? People will, go ahead and dabble in these, right? So it's very, very interesting to see how it all play out. And again, I'm not saying that this means that blockchain games and specifically ILV will blow up, but it's something to think about, right? Because, while it's not directly correlated with ILV, it's something that's supporting the thesis that, hey, listen, blockchain gaming will get, a lot of active users in this upcoming cycle. And for the most part, like NFTs itself, right? I spoke about how NFTs itself, had a boom, and right now there's not that much activity for trading in NFTs. That doesn't mean that real world applications are not coming, right? For NFTs, right? NFTs are not going anywhere. You're going to see your license, your passport, homes are being, tokenized via NFTs, right? Same thing for blockchain gaming. And I believe that even Grand Theft Auto 6 has even announced that they're going to be launching some type of in-game token for, their game itself in some way, shape, or form. We don't know yet. Again, this is speculation, but it's only going to be a matter of time where even the legacy brands in the space are, using blockchain in some way, shape, or form. And again, ILV being the leader in the space right now, or one of the few leaders, is very, very interesting to see how this is going to, of course, age. But, this is super cool stuff right there, right? This is like an exponential growth, not just a little bit of a jump, but you see exponential growth. And the final part here, or the second to last part, is the technical analysis part, right? ILV started at $29. I believe the ICO was like pennies, but of course those prices are gone. And this is the only chart I could find with the most historical data. So it started at $29 and it went all the way up to $1,904, yielding a 63x return. And then ever since then, ILV has pretty much been chopping downwards. Now it has found a support down here at this, pre-expansion level. And clearly this area over here was the expansion all the way from $100 to $1,900. Excuse me, I got a little yawn there, but you can see here that prices acted as support at this level, right? And there's no saying of what exactly is going to happen next, except right now what you can see is that price is chopping at this level, right? Which is bullish, because pretty much like price does not go up in a straight line. There's a moment in time where the price chops sideways. And as it chops sideways, that is when you want to be paying attention, and actually when you want to accumulate. There's a reason why when price goes sideways, they call it accumulation, right? Because before expansion, that's when accumulation takes place, right? So what you want to see, and again, if you are bullish like I am, I have been accumulating right here. I've actually bought some down here at around $40, so I'm already up a decent amount, like 30%. But I am holding for the longer term because I believe that this is going to make a big comeback. And my first target is this range high here at $103, right? Because this is the range high and we might continue chopping here. So we'll see how it plays out and what the chart looks like when we get up to $103. So I do believe that it's going to go to $103 first. Now that may change depending on how this subdivides, right? Of course. If this becomes a really big wick here and it continues to act slow and grind up slowly, then maybe I might be bearish. But if we start seeing more expansion, bigger candles, more volume, and price looking very, very explosive and impulsive, then guess what? My bias is going to change. I mean, as simple as that. There's not really much that you need to understand, right? It's just this is accumulation. If we get up to this high here and in a few candles, obviously that's bullish, right? That's very, very bullish. And this retracement that took place here before we got back, to potentially getting this high, I mean, it's a part of the game, right? Because for the most part, like what you want to see again is just slow price action, accumulation. Because when you look at total, and this is like the chart of the whole entire cryptocurrency market, you're seeing kind of the same type of price action, right? You're seeing a range, right? This is a range, and you're seeing price consolidate under a range. And just for the record, I am very, very bullish right now. I know a lot of people are not bullish right now. A lot of people are saying that, hey, we're going to go lower. Bitcoin's going to 12K. If you guys have been following me on this channel way back when, you guys can go look at my Bitcoin analysis. I was bullish back down here in December. I was talking about how if this level reclaims, then we're going to take off. And that's exactly what happened. We did take off. All this stuff is noted on my channel. So again, this is all important because it plays into ILV, because what you can see here is the same story, right? Because if we are able to get back to this level here at $100, then that would be a reclaim to go long. And that would probably mean that we're going to start going towards the high here, back all the way up to what? $500 potentially, because this whole area is like a void and there's not much price action here, which means that's really easy to kind of go through the same way that it went back down, right? The same way, like pretty much like price is in a, like runs up to this high. This is technically called the inefficiency, this whole level here. And that's kind of why the price like just breaks through it so easily, right? But this area, like you see over here, has been able to consolidate at this level because it's pretty much historical price action for the price to kind of balance itself back out, right? And you know, that's kind of a little tangent on the technical analysis side. I didn't mean to talk about it that much, but you don't really want to get, you know, stuck up on believing we're going to go to all-time highs here. What you want to do is wait and see how we react to 100 first, right? And then once we get to 100, how do we react all the way up at this level at 479, right? And so you want to take it in levels. You don't want to be going and thinking that we're going straight to all-time highs, because it's not realistic, right? Because back in 2021, there might have not been, you know, how many tokens in circulation? Oh, it's not showing me here. Okay, that's very strange, but there's about 5 million tokens in circulation right now according to CoinGecko, and back in 2021 that might have not been the case, right? There could have been half of the tokens in circulation, which means that there's more selling pressure, you know, on the market if we get back at this level of 479, right? And so there's a lot of things to take into consideration. And I went on a lot of a tangent here, but I don't want to continue on the techno analysis side. But again, if you were buying right now and you're interested in what's going to happen next, your first target should be 100. And then we'll see how that reacts. And then after 100, how does the 479 level react? And then again, if the momentum is continuing to the upside, if the whole market is moving up to the upside here, you know, we'll see how it all plays out. So if you want to keep yourself up to date, make sure you're subscribed and liked. So maybe then at that time I can do another video, right? Because things change. And anyone who's telling you that, oh, we're going to go to $1,900 is completely lying to you, right? Because that's not true at all. They're just completely bullshitting you. Because no one knows what's going to happen. No one knows if the game that we think is going to be created on ILV is going to actually be created on ILV, right? And no one knows what the tokenomics are going to be like in the future. Who knows tomorrow if somebody announces that they're buying 50% of the supply? Like, again, I'm saying complete speculation right now. I'm making up scenarios, but the answer really is no one knows if we're going to reach the all-time highs here. But again, seeing how the market is going to react when everything goes up, seeing how ILV reacts is going to help us paint a better picture in the future after we reach these levels at 100 and 579. And with that, I want to move on to the conclusion. Pretty much Illuvium's trajectory in both conception and execution paints a vivid picture on where the future of the blockchain gaming is going to go. Again, it's not a niche. It's pretty much a mainstream behemoth at this point. Play to earn is not going anywhere. And pretty much it's on Ethereum, right? It's the biggest layer one. So it gives us the biggest advantage because most people can interact with it. I think it's going to be a pioneer in the next generation of play to earn gaming. Whether that's going to lead to a bull market, whether it's not, their team is building, they're raising money, and they have a team that is pretty much, has a background in this stuff, right? So I think that's very, very important. And again, gaming industry is not going anywhere. We're clearly seeing an uptrend in that. So again, I think that will overlay to some parts of the blockchain side. So, again, I mean, I'm not using rocket science here, right? I'm basically saying ILV is a winner in this space, right? They have a proof of concept. They're creating games. They're building in the bear market. They did not disappear. They're raising money. They're doing things. Everything is traceable, right? And with that, the correlation of gaming and how people are continuing to, play more and more is very good because that gives the opportunity for people to roll into blockchain gaming and they might stumble upon ILV. So again, that's why I'm bullish on ILV. That's why I'm bullish on blockchain gaming. I think there's going to be multiple winners. I don't think it's just going to be ILV. But again, 10 million tokens is nothing. That gives it a lot of room to grow in the potential future. So we'll see what happens. Again, that doesn't mean that I'm going to be 100% right. There could be inaccuracies here or there. I could be completely wrong. But again, this is what we do. This is why research is important. This is why you want to understand what you're investing in. You want to look at these things and understand these things because this is what the whole point of this shit is, right? You want to research, you want to understand. You pretty much want to, know what you're getting into, right? Investing blindly is just absolutely silly, which is why I do these reports, right? These reports are also for me because I want to invest, but it's also because I want to learn what I am potentially buying. So with that, I appreciate you guys making it to the end of the video. Please like and subscribe if you learned anything from this video. And as always, hodl, hodl, hodl. Peace.